I was thinking it was about time I did another series on a restoration of a valve radio, and I popped round to my parents this afternoon as it's my birthday, and my mum bought me this. She picked it up from a friend of hers. This is a Cossor Model 524 Melody Maker valve radio. Date released apparently was 1955, July 1955, which is quite apt because it's the 1st of July today. So this is what, coming on 60 years old now, 58 years old. First thing we noticed about it was the condition of it. It's beautiful condition. It's in really nice nick. I think it's probably been used by someone who's wanted it as a display model. You can see here it's obviously a Bakelite case. There's a very few run marks on it. Probably just needs a bit of a clean. Apparently my mum said when she picked it up it was a bit dusty, but if you see here the back panel is in perfect condition. It's like brand new. It's lovely. It's in really good nick. And it had no mains cable in it, and we're not sure when it was last plugged in, but we can open the back in a mo and have a look to see what condition it's like inside. This isn't a series strung set. This is a proper mains transformer radio, so it wouldn't have been one of the cheapest ones, and indeed when it was released in 1955 it was £19 and sixpence, so £19, 16 shillings and sixpence, so it wasn't a cheap radio. And according to spec, I've got the service manual here from actually Cossor, and its power consumption is 60 watts. And it lists the European, non-European valve numbers. It uses a 6AQ8 for the FM RF amplifier, 6AJ8 for the IF amplifiers, and also a 6BY7, a 6AK8 for the ratio detector for the FM section, 6BQ5 for the output valve, and a 6V4 for the rectifier. And what's also nice about the alignment for here, it's actually tells you how to do it with the wobulator, and also it actually gives you graphs of what you can expect to see at certain test points. So Cossor have obviously gone to a long, quite an in-depth sort of service manual, unlike a lot of the radios where they just say align it to 470 kilohertz for peak. Cossor have obviously gone a little bit further than that and want you to do it sort of properly. And so let's have a quick look round. So this is obviously our wave change switch here. So it's long wave, medium wave, and short wave, and FM as well. So it's a 4-band set. We've got tuning on this left-hand dial here, and on the right-hand side we've got the volume control and the tone control on the centric here. So the first thing you notice is the grill's like mint. There's no staining. It hasn't gone yellow. It's in really nice condition, and it's tight. It's no bagginess, and you haven't got that outline you get with some of the older radios where the sort of dust from the speaker sort of darkens the area around the speaker where the speaker's been working. Turn around back again. We've got options on the back here for an AM area, which is just a piece of wire, and an earth connection to connect to your external earth. Also, of course, we've got a gram input, which most of these radios did. Basically, that bypasses the breaks the connection just before the volume control. So you break the radio connection and feed in a gram signal, so you can have a crystal or ceramic cartridge. Will probably produce enough output to give you a decent volume on the amplifier. And here you see we've got an external connection speaker capability, which is nice. And there's all the details in the back of the full details. Operating receivers are given in the instruction card M174274. A copy is available with each instrument. So obviously, when this instrument was when it was bought, you had all this information on the in the manual as well. So it's in, as I say, it's in lovely condition. What would be interesting is to open it up now and have a look to see if anything's been done with it. It's got this old type of sort of twin cable flex, which is I'd probably keep because the insulation's in good nick, and you see when you bend it, it doesn't split, so that's good. It's got an old shoelace holding the. Oh, that spider's just got out. Sorry, I've just upset him. Oh, is he going back in again? He's not very happy about me disturbing his home after 60 years, so he's off. So let's disconnect this mains lead. Let's get Mr. Spider out so we don't get reported by the RSPCA. Oh no, he's gone back in. Okay, well, fair enough. It's not going to cause any problem. So let's whip the cover off, the back off it, and have a look, see what we've got. So disconnect the two aerials. You never know with these radios. I mean, they're in lovely condition externally, but it's a good chance that someone has just used this as sort of like a talking piece rather than actually having the radio powered up, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the radio's had no work done on it at all, and we can probably have a look at it, and if it looks like it's in fairly nice nick and it's nothing obviously wrong, we can give it maybe a soft start to see if we can get it to power up. Okay, look at the size of that speaker. It's a huge elliptical speaker in them, absolutely massive. Let me just bring you in a bit closer, bring the tripod down so you can see a bit better. So it's got this huge elliptical speaker, lots of dust and things as you'd expect from something that's 60 years old. The spider's come back out. Let's get him out because he's clearly not very... He's at the door now, so he's got a new home. So you see inside here, just got the FM section here by the looks of it, FM detector, and all the tuning for the FM will be done in there. That looks like the first valve, the RF amplifier and mixer tube, or valve should I say, and this is the IF amplifier. That's the UABC80, which is obviously the 6 number that we just quoted. That's the FM ratio detector. Output valve here, and right at the back here you probably can't see is the rectifier that looks very similar to an EZ80, something like that. And we've got our ferret rod at the top here. Just a bit of light in there, you can see the ferret rod in there, and then the dial light at the front, a transformer for the loudspeaker, and the mains transformer here, obviously down here, which is just check it's set to 240 volts, but it is very dusty. So the first thing we'd probably have to do before we got too carried away with it is to blow all the dust out so we don't start stinking the place out really. But inside doesn't look like it's ever had anything done to it, so let's just turn it over onto its front. Let's see what we've got. So underneath, see here, we've got, okay, the good thing is it doesn't look like it's got many wax capacitors in it. There's one waxy here that's bound to be leaky. I don't know if you can see that just in the corner there. Zoom in so you can see a bit better. So this waxy cap here is going to be suspect. There's a lot of sort of micas in here as well, and the couple of other capacitors in here that look suspicious. We'll probably have to go through some of these resistors here. They're notoriously unreliable and drift high, so they will probably need replacing. But what we'll do, I think we'll do is we'll give it an initial power up. We'll power it up gently, give it a bit of chance to stabilise, make sure it doesn't draw any excess current, and then ascertain what it needs. It's probably going to need smoothing caps replaced and things like that. So let me get that set up and I'll come back. Okay, we're wired up to the variac. So what the plan is to do is start it up gently, keep an eye on the current. We don't want to see more than sort of 1/4 of an amp maximum. Considering its power consumption is only 60 watts, you should barely see any meter deflection at all, hopefully. So the volume is set to maximum. I'm not sure what band we're on. Oh, this is, let's see, it should be on FM. So let's go to long wave and tune to 1500. So we get radio 4, which will be the strong signal. So let's power it up then. Keep an eye on the meter and keep an eye on the radio, obviously, for anything untoward. So I'm going to start with about 50 volts. I'm winding it up gently there. Variac's not working. Let's turn the power supply on and the shop supply on. It's not on. Okay, that helps. Bit of power. Okay, so we're going to power the radio up, as I say, 50 volts. Winding it up gently. Looking for any jumps in current. Don't expect to see anything. I'm going to wind it up slowly until I start to see some sort of movement on the meter. Okay, slight movement now. We're at 100 volts. I'm just going to turn the radio around so you can see the scale illumination. The light bulb's just on. So give it a little while there. Because what's happening now is the heaters are heating the valves, and as the valves start to heat, the first thing that will happen is the rectifier valve will start to conduct, and as the rectifier starts to conduct, that will charge up smoothening capacitors. Now, if there's a problem with the smoothening capacitors, the rectifier is going to go into overload, and we don't want to damage the valves. So what I'm doing is we're just giving it the benefit of the doubt that the heaters will only be about 2.5–3 volts, so the emission will be very low. Listening for any sort of bad humming or anything like that. Can't hear anything at the moment, so that's okay. So I'm going to increase it to 150 volts. Watching the ammeter, as I said before. Keep your eye on the ammeter, because obviously now the valves will be starting to warm up a bit more. Just give it a little bit of time. It's been asleep for a long time. You just need to give it a chance to reform. Okay. I can hear a radio station. It's very, very faint, but I can hear a radio station. Okay, that's amazing. Right, I'll increase it to 200 volts. Current's going up a bit. Expecting the valves to start conducting fairly.
Had to organise a system for distributing migrants urgently. More than 80,000 people have arrived in Italy in the first 6 months of this year. British Airways says it's been able to run almost all of its flights.
A few clicks and pops from
starting a 16-day strike. The Unite Union says it's considering legal
maybe
action
bad valve
against
connection
BA,
or something.
which has drafted in staff and planes from another airline to cover gaps. There have been many tributes to the broadcaster and film critic Barry Norman, who has died at the age of 83. He
Oh, that's
presented
sad. Barry Norman's died.
for 25 years. The BBC's Director General, Tony Hall, described him as a first-class critic and presenter. BBC News.
So
In a quarter of an hour
it's working. Let's just give it a little bit longer. The volume's flat out, so the sound's very weak, but it's clearly working. I'm going to increase the voltage now to 240.
Alone in Berlin, based on a true story of small-scale wartime heroism. You can hear what the Saturday Review panel make of it at 7:15. But first on Radio 4, here's Mark Coles with Profile.
Well, that's the tone control.
Wanted, according to the Prime Minister, someone best suited to the
So it
task
sounds
and
good.
available to start work immediately.
Martin, are you the right person for this job?
Sorry, I can't answer questions at the moment. I've come here to meet the local people.
That'll be him then, Sir Martin Morbick, 70 years old, a former...
So that works perfectly well on long wave, which is quite a surprise really, because it obviously hasn't been used for a while. Current consumption is, with this meter, it looks like about 50 milliamps, which is probably about right. So let's try some of the other ranges. So let's try medium wave.
So it's like, I guess, doing a marathon and you're...
Okay, medium wave's working. Seems possibly a little bit insensitive.
All live more like Jesus. London Bible Week starts the 7th.
Sound quality is lovely, actually. Okay, so we'll go to shortwave and just have a quick flick through. Now, I think we probably won't pick up a lot with shortwave because we haven't got an external aerial. I could quickly wire one up, I suppose. Just way of doing that. Really isn't an easy way of doing that actually. So just bear with me a minute whilst I connect a aerial up. So where's our shortwave connections, I wonder? This is the AM area. That should give us an AM shortwave area.
The military expeditions of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Is no longer alive. Time. 26-year-old John appeared on June 9th after getting into an unknown vehicle while on her way to an apartment.
So shortwave's working. Well, the set's in clearly pretty good condition really. We'll try it on FM. This will be the big test. I'm not so sure if FM's going to work. Just got to check the connections, so I'll set the FM up and I'll come back. Okay, we're plugged into the FM section. Let's try it, see what we get. No, I wasn't on FM. That's FM now. Okay. We got. Okay, FM's not working. It could be dirty switch. We've got some bad connection going on there. So I'll turn the radio around, check the valves tight. Detectors valve, the discriminator valves that keep work. Okay, so clearly nothing on FM. So the set's in good nick. There's obviously a problem with the FM section, but the AM and long wave bands all seem to be working fine. So it's not going to be a huge job to get this going, I don't think. So I think the next stage would be to remove the chassis from the case, and we'll have a look and start going through the FM to try and work out what that noise is and get it recapped.